When you grow old, don't let old friends back into your life. As you enter the later years of life, it's natural to reflect on the journey that has shaped you, the people, places, and moments that linger in your memory. An unexpected message from an old friend may stir recollections of shared laughter, adventures, or even unresolved conflicts. While the urge to reconnect can be strong, pause and consider carefully before opening that door to the past. Having lived nearly a century, I offer this seasoned advice: don't let old friends back into your life without deep thought. The past is a chapter meant to be closed. It's not just a collection of memories, but a teacher that guides your growth. The friendships that once defined you serve their purpose in a specific season of life. Some taught you to laugh louder, others built your resilience, and some, though painful, showed you the art of letting go. Not every friendship is destined to last forever, and there's no shame in that. Holding on to a closed chapter too long can keep you from embracing the peace and beauty of the chapters yet to come. When you think of old friends, it's easy to be drawn in by nostalgic memories, the sense of belonging, the joy of youth. But you are not the same person you were when those bonds thrived. You've grown, weathered storms, and evolved in ways they may not fully grasp. Likewise, they may have changed or remained static while you've moved forward. Reconnecting often reveals that the magic you once shared has faded. The laughter may feel forced, the camaraderie a mere echo, and the connection you cherished may no longer exist. When an old friend reaches out, take a moment to reflect. What do you truly miss? Is it the person or the version of yourself you were with them? Perhaps you long for a time when life felt simpler, when possibilities seemed endless. But trying to recapture that feeling through reconnection is like chasing a moment that no longer exists. The past cannot be recreated, it can only be remembered. Some friendships ended for reasons time cannot erase: a misunderstanding, a betrayal, or simply a natural drift. That distance is a gift, allowing you to grow unburdened by ties that no longer serve you. Your time and emotional energy are precious, especially now. You've spent a lifetime cultivating peace, and you've earned the right to protect it. An old friend who once brought negativity or exhaustion may do so again. Ask yourself, are you willing to carry that weight? The younger you might have been more forgiving, but now you know the value of tranquility. Closing a chapter doesn't mean you're ungrateful or unkind. It's about honoring the past by leaving it where it belongs in memory. You carry the lessons and gratitude forward, but leave behind the need to revisit what's done. The life ahead of you deserves your full presence. Letting go of the past is liberating, freeing you to focus on the present where true joy resides. Cherish the relationships that enrich your life today, the ones with people who understand who you are now. Invest your energy in moments that lighten your heart: a quiet morning, a heartfelt conversation, or the simple pleasure of a walk. The past has given you all it can. Now, it's time to live fully in the present, with a heart unburdened and a spirit open to the beauty of today. As you navigate the later chapters of life, you come to cherish the tranquility you've cultivated through years of joy, struggle, and growth. This peace, hard-earned and deeply personal, is a treasure more valuable than gold. Yet, it's fragile, easily disrupted by relationships that no longer align with the life you've built. When an old friend reaches out, stirring memories of a shared past, the temptation to reconnect can be strong. But after nearly a century of living, I urge you to tread carefully. Protecting your peace should be your highest priority, and not every connection deserves a place in your sanctuary. Peace is more than the absence of conflict. It's an inner stillness, a contentment that allows you to savor life's simple moments without unnecessary burdens. At this stage, you've fought battles, made sacrifices, and gained wisdom that has shaped your serene existence. Yet, old friends, no matter how fondly remembered, can sometimes bring chaos where calm should reign. Their presence, even with good intentions, may reintroduce unresolved tensions, incompatible habits, or energies that clash with your carefully nurtured harmony. You have the right and the responsibility to safeguard the tranquility of your golden years. Reconnecting with someone from the past can stir emotions you thought were settled. Perhaps they carry unresolved grievances, dwell on negative stories, or view the world through a lens of discontent. Such energy, even unintentionally, can seep into your spirit. You may find yourself rehashing old conversations, expending emotional labor to support them, or tiptoeing to avoid their complaints. This isn't about lacking compassion. You've likely given more love and care than most, but about recognizing the cost of relationships that drain rather than replenish. At this point in life, you've earned the right to say no without guilt. Not all connections are equal. Some old friends may have been companions of convenience, tied to a specific time or circumstance. Without that context, the bond may no longer hold meaning. Others may not have grown as you have, their presence feeling out of sync with your evolved self. Protecting your peace means prioritizing relationships that uplift you, bring joy, and make you feel valued. These are the connections that deserve your time, those where silence is as comfortable as conversation, where your heart feels light, not heavy. Current relationships, with people who know you as you are now, have earned their place through shared growth and mutual support. Saying no to an old friend doesn't make you selfish, it's a wise act of self-preservation. You've spent decades navigating life's demands: work, family, community, and now is the time to lean into connections that feel effortless. If an old friend's presence threatens your balance, it's okay to decline. This isn't cruelty, but a commitment to the life you've built. By guarding your peace, you create space for what truly matters: quiet mornings with a favorite book, walks in nature, or laughter with those who bring warmth to your days. These moments are the essence of a life well lived. With age comes clarity. You see people for who they are, not just who they were. This insight empowers you to choose relationships that align with your values. Protecting your peace means understanding your limits and honoring them. You can't pour from an empty cup, and your energy is better spent on those who reciprocate your care. Some old friends may bring baggage that weighs you down: negativity, drama, or unmet expectations. Letting them back in risks disrupting the harmony you've worked so hard to achieve. Peace is a choice made daily through intentional decisions. It's a commitment to yourself, honoring the lessons, battles, and wisdom that have brought you here. By protecting your peace, you give yourself the gift of a life free from unnecessary chaos, filled with serenity and joy. As you consider reconnecting with an old friend, ask, will this enhance my peace or diminish it? If the answer leans toward disruption, trust yourself to let go. Your later years are for savoring, not struggling. Choose relationships that nourish your soul, and let peace reign as the cornerstone of your life's final, beautiful chapter. As you journey through the later years of life, nostalgia often creeps in, painting the past with a golden hue. Memories of old friends, shared laughter, and carefree moments from youth can feel like a warm embrace. A message from a long-lost companion might stir these feelings, tempting you to reconnect and relive those cherished times. But after nearly 9 decades of life, I've learned a profound truth. Nostalgia, though comforting, can be a trap. It tethers us to what was, blinding us to the beauty of what is and the possibilities of what could be. Letting go of nostalgia is not about erasing the past, but about embracing the present with a heart unburdened by longing. Nostalgia has a unique power to transport us to moments long gone. It evokes the sweetness of youth days filled with endless possibilities, laughter with friends, and a world that seems simpler. But as someone who has walked this earth for nearly a century, I can tell you that these memories are often polished by time. The mind softens the edges, glossing over the struggles and imperfections that were part of those days. The past wasn't flawless, it was complex, just like the present. When you feel the pull to rekindle an old friendship, pause and reflect. Are you longing for the person, or for the version of yourself that existed back then? Often, it's not the friend you miss, but the carefree, younger you, unweighed by life's responsibilities. That younger self may have felt braver, more open to the world's possibilities, and the friendship mirrored that sense of freedom. But time changes us all. You are no longer that person, nor is your old friend. You've grown through trials, gained wisdom, and shaped a life that reflects who you are now. They, too, have followed their own path, perhaps diverging from yours in ways that make reconnection feel forced. Clinging to nostalgia can set you up for disappointment, as the essence of those past moments cannot be recreated. Trying to relive them is like chasing a shadow. It may look familiar, but it lacks substance. Life moves forward, and so must we. There's a deeper danger in nostalgia. It can mask unresolved feelings. Sometimes, the fondness you feel for an old friend is tied to regret, unfinished business, or a sense of what could have been. Reopening that door, however, rarely brings the closure you seek. Instead, it often reveals that the connection you cherished has faded, and the person you once knew feels like a stranger. The laughter may no longer flow naturally, the conversations may feel strained, and the bond you remembered may exist only in memory. This realization can be painful, stirring emotions you thought were long settled. Letting go of nostalgia means accepting that some chapters are meant to remain closed, not because they were unimportant, but because they've served their purpose. This stage of life is a gift, one not everyone is fortunate enough to experience. It's a time to be fully present, to savor the relationships that have endured and the simple joys that come with age. Holding on to nostalgia can rob you of this presence, pulling your focus to a time that no longer exists. The present offers its own richness: quiet mornings with a cup of coffee, heartfelt conversations with loved ones, or the beauty of a sunset. These moments shine brightest when you're not clouded by longing for what was. By releasing the weight of nostalgia, you free yourself to embrace the fullness of now. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting or diminishing the past. It's about honoring it for what it was, a chapter rich with lessons, laughter, and meaning. Those experiences shaped you, but they don't define you. You carry their wisdom forward without needing to relive them. When you let go of nostalgia, you allow yourself to live more fully in the present, unburdened by the shadows of what once was. This act of release is liberating, opening your heart to new joys, deeper connections, and the peace that comes with clarity. Consider the relationships in your life today: family, close friends, or community members who know and love you as you are now. These are the bonds that deserve your energy, the ones that have grown with you through life's highs and lows. They offer a sense of belonging rooted in the present, not tethered to a distant memory. Nostalgia, while comforting, can distract you from these connections, pulling you away from the people who truly enrich your days. By focusing on the here and now, you honor those who have stood the test of time and the life you've built. There's also a practical side to letting go. Your emotional energy is finite, especially as you age. Spending it on chasing nostalgic connections can leave you drained, with less to give to the relationships and experiences that matter most. An old friend may bring warmth in memory, but reconnecting often demands more than it gives: navigating changes, rebuilding trust, or confronting old wounds. If the connection no longer aligns with your values or peace, it's okay to let it remain in the past. This choice isn't cold, it's an act of self-respect, prioritizing your well-being over obligation. Nostalgia has its place. It can bring a smile on a quiet evening, a moment of gratitude for the journey you've traveled. But it should never hold you back from moving forward. The past has given you all it can: its lessons, its love, its growth. Now, it's time to release it and step into the grace of the life ahead. This stage is for savoring, for living with intention, and for finding joy in the ordinary. Whether it's a conversation that warms your heart or a moment of solitude that feels whole, these are the treasures of the present. As you reflect on whether to reconnect with an old friend, ask yourself, does this serve the life I'm living now? Will it enhance my peace or pull me back into a time that no longer fits? If the answer points to disruption, trust yourself to let go. You've earned the right to choose what fills your days. Letting go of nostalgia is an act of courage, a declaration that you value the present more than the pull of the past. It's about stepping into each day with a heart open to new possibilities, unclouded by what was, and ready to embrace the beauty of what is. In my many years, I've seen the power of living fully in the moment. The past is a cherished memory, but the present is where life unfolds. By letting go of nostalgia, you give yourself permission to find joy in the here and now, to nurture the relationships that matter, and to live with a lightness that comes from being free of longing. Choose the present. Choose peace, and let the life you have today shine as brightly as any memory ever could. As you journey through the later years of life, one truth becomes strikingly clear: emotional energy is a precious and finite resource. Unlike time, which slips away steadily, emotional energy ebbs and flows, requiring careful nurturing and mindful allocation. After nearly a century of living, I've learned that not every relationship or interaction deserves a share of this limited reserve. When an old friend reaches out, stirring memories of a shared past, the temptation to reconnect can feel compelling. But before you invest your heart and energy, pause and consider, does this connection nourish your soul, or will it drain the peace you've worked so hard to cultivate? Protecting your emotional energy is not selfishness, it's wisdom born of experience. In youth, you may have felt your emotional reserves were boundless. You gave freely, listening, comforting, and supporting others without counting the cost. Perhaps you were the friend who was always there, the one others leaned on in times of need. But with age comes clarity. While your heart may be vast, your capacity to pour out love and care is not limitless. Every interaction draws from your emotional well, and as you grow older, you realize the importance of using this energy wisely. Reconnecting with old friends, especially those from a distant past, can demand more than you might expect, leaving you depleted when you should be thriving. Rekindling an old friendship often requires significant emotional labor. Years of separation mean catching up, navigating changes, and rebuilding trust that time has eroded. You may find yourself bridging gaps that feel wider with each conversation, giving more than you receive. If the friend brings unresolved baggage, negativity, drama, or a lack of reciprocity, the toll on your emotional energy can be profound. Perhaps they dwell on old grievances or carry habits that clash with the life you've built. At this stage, you've likely given more love and support than you ever thought possible, but compassion must be balanced with self-preservation. You have the right to protect your well-being, to say no to relationships that drain rather than replenish. Consider the people already in your life: family, close friends, and community members who know and cherish you as you are now. These relationships sustain you, adding richness and depth to your days. They've grown with you, weathered life storms alongside you, and earned their place in your inner circle. These are the connections that deserve your emotional energy, as the love and care you give are returned in kind. An old friend, however, may be tied to a version of you that no longer exists. Their presence may pull you back to a time that doesn't align with your present, demanding energy that could be better spent on those who uplift you today. When you consider reconnecting, ask yourself, will this relationship enhance my sense of peace and fulfillment, or will it deplete my reserves? Will it bring joy in connection, or leave me feeling drained and unbalanced? These questions aren't about judgment but practicality. Emotional energy, like physical stamina, is finite. You must choose where to invest it. A friendship that requires constant effort to maintain, or one that stirs old tensions, may not be worth the cost. You've spent decades navigating life's demands, work, family, and obligations. Now is the time to prioritize relationships that feel effortless, where mutual understanding and joy flow naturally. There's a certain freedom in recognizing your limitations. It empowers you to be intentional about where you direct your energy, focusing on experiences and people that truly matter. Scattering yourself across connections that no longer serve you risks diluting the richness of your life. Instead, channel your emotional energy into moments that bring lightness, a heartfelt conversation, a quiet evening with a loved one, or the simple pleasure of a walk in nature. These are the treasures that make your later years vibrant, and they require a well of energy that hasn't been drained by the past. Reflecting on nearly a century of life, I'm struck by the truth that we carry within us all the love, wisdom, and strength we've ever given. These qualities shape who we are, but to keep them vibrant, we must be careful not to give away so much that we're left empty. Emotional energy is renewable, but only if we nurture it. This means choosing connections that replenish rather than exhaust, relationships that align with the peace you've cultivated. When an old friend reaches out, evaluate whether their presence will nourish your soul or sap your strength. If it's the latter, it's okay to let go. You've earned the right to choose. This wisdom extends beyond friendships to how you live each day. Your emotional energy is a gift, one that allows you to engage fully with the present. By protecting it, you honor the life you've built, the lessons you've learned, and the person you've become. You create space for joy, reflection, and the simple pleasures that define a life well lived. Whether it's savoring a quiet morning, sharing laughter with those closest to you, or finding contentment in solitude, these moments depend on an emotional well that's carefully guarded. Letting go of connections that no longer serve you is an act of self-respect. It's not about dismissing the past or the memories you shared with an old friend. It's about acknowledging that your energy is precious and should be reserved for what truly enriches your life. The relationships that deserve your time are those that feel reciprocal, where both sides give and receive with ease. If an old friendship demands more than it offers, it's okay to leave it in the past, with gratitude for what it once was. As you navigate this stage of life, remember that your emotional energy is a resource to be cherished. It's the fuel for the moments that make your days meaningful, the laughter, the love, the quiet contentment. By choosing where to invest it, you ensure that your heart remains full, not empty. So, when an old friend calls, ask yourself, does this connection align with the life I've built? Does it honor the peace I've earned? If the answer is no, let go with grace. You've spent a lifetime giving to others. Now is the time to give to yourself, to live with intention, and to guard your emotional energy as the precious gift it is. As you reach the later years of life, setting boundaries becomes an essential act of self-respect. After nearly a century of experiences, I've learned that boundaries are not walls to shut others out, but bridges that protect your well-being while honoring those around you. When an old friend reaches out after years of silence, stirring nostalgia or obligation, it's tempting to reconnect. But before you open that door, consider whether this aligns with the peace you've cultivated. Polite boundaries, set with grace, are empowering tools that safeguard your emotional energy and allow you to live authentically. Boundaries are often misunderstood as unkind, but they're among the most loving acts you can perform for yourself and others. They create clarity, preventing tension and fostering mutual respect. When an old friend contacts you, it may evoke a mix of emotions: curiosity, warmth, or even duty. Yet, not every connection deserves a place in your life now. Ask yourself, does this relationship enhance the tranquility you've earned, or could it disrupt it? If it's the latter, a polite boundary is not only appropriate but necessary. It's about preserving your peace, not rejecting someone. Setting a boundary doesn't mean harshness. A carefully crafted response can acknowledge the past with gratitude while gently declining to rekindle the bond. For example, you might say, "Thank you for reaching out. I cherish our shared memories, but I'm focused on my present life now. I wish you well." These words carry no malice, only honesty and respect. They affirm your worth, the value of your time, energy, and emotional well-being. This kind of clarity is empowering, allowing you to stand in your truth without sacrificing kindness. It also sets a precedent for how others treat you, signaling that you value connection, but not at the cost of your peace. Some may misinterpret your boundaries as rejection, but their reaction isn't your responsibility. What matters is that you've acted with integrity. Boundaries aren't about controlling others. They're about defining what you allow into your life. At this stage, your days should be filled with relationships that uplift and nurture, not those that drain or disrupt. By setting boundaries, you make space for connections that align with your values, those that bring joy, ease, and mutual understanding. This act of discernment is a gift to yourself, freeing you from obligation and creating room for what truly matters. In my many years, I've seen the transformative power of boundaries. They've allowed me to cherish relationships that bring peace, while letting go of those that no longer serve. They've given me the courage to say no when needed and the grace to say yes when it feels right. Boundaries have helped me protect the life I've built, a life of simplicity, love, and quiet satisfaction. They're not barriers but acts of self-love that also respect others. When you set them politely, you maintain harmony while staying true to your needs. Consider the emotional energy you have at this stage. It's finite and precious. Reconnecting with an old friend can demand more than you realize, pulling you into dynamics that may not fit your current life. By setting boundaries, you can serve that energy for relationships that enrich you, like those with family or friends who know you now. These connections, built on mutual growth, deserve your focus. A polite boundary ensures you're not stretched thin by the past, allowing you to engage fully in the present. Embracing boundaries is about living on your terms. It's a declaration that your peace is non-negotiable, earned through decades of lessons and love. As you consider an old friend's outreach, weigh its impact on your tranquility. If it threatens to disrupt, don't fear setting a boundary. Be polite, firm, and clear about your needs. In doing so, you honor the journey you've traveled and the person you've become. Let boundaries be your guide, empowering you to nurture only the most meaningful relationships and live with a heart full of peace. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.